Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Monday morning on the man they call Meathead. It's June 7th, 2021. Joining me this morning is the real Matthew Thomas, the real M. Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. A little switcheroo, but my goodness, I'm excited to be starting the week of all of our listeners off with you and I this morning, Meathead.
Yeah, and I had this all planned out. I wanted to talk to the lovely Linda Kay on Monday morning because I'm not being paid for this promotional spot, but I have to bring this up right away. Do you know that Movies has a pop-up starting in Milwaukee today? Movies being the fictional restaurant from the Kevin Smith movies. You can get I think, what was it? It was a Cocksmoker was one of the sandwiches, How Tippers, all sorts of sandwiches. But Movies in Milwaukee today.
Yes. And, I missed them when they were out in Denver, but I did get a chance to, to peruse the menu. So,
you said you were a big fan of smoking, the Cock Smokers.
Whatever that cock sandwich was.
Right.
So that was the one that really kind of jumped out at me. And, I'm a little bit upset. I'm a little bit upset that I missed out on it. But, you have a chance to, potentially, take care of that and make up for it for me. So I do appreciate that.
I will. Now let's talk about our real sponsors, Matthew Thomas. Who helps the program out?
Well, it's Collar and Elbow brand. And as a matter of fact, I did some traveling over the weekend, and my traveling up shirt and my traveling back home shirt were both Collar and Elbow because they just felt that comfortable. When you're traveling, when you're doing a lot of moving around, you don't want something that's going to be uncomfortable. And my goodness, it was some of the best traveling that I've ever done in the Collar and Elbow gear that I was wearing. And if you want to be like me, and I don't know why in the world you wouldn't, you head over to collarandelbowbrand.com. And if you want to pay full price, by all means, go for it. Pay full price. But if you want to save money, if you want to save 10%, when you get to that little promo code thing, you enter in promo code Linda K. That's LINDAK. save 10%, and then that extra money you got, you can do whatever you want to with it. That's
with that extra 10%, if you're doing the over 50, I think you're getting the free shipping as well at collarandelbowbrand.com. But with that 10% that you saved, get yourself a cock smoker.
So basically, it's like there. What if you're under 50? What if you're in your mid 30s? Do you have to pay full price?
You'll have to refer to collarandelbowbrand.com.
Oh, okay. I just that's like an age discount, right? If you're over 50, you get free shipping.
Hey, the Zohan, David Hero, and myself do not appreciate age discrimination on this program here, sir. I have to contact the HR for PWR.
But
today.
you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get that discount yet.
Let's not talk about the age because I'm feeling what were those memes that were out a few years ago? Feeling kind of cute, might go out and whatever.
Yeah.
Feeling kind of gray haired, might go out and get a discount. That's how I'm feeling.
Well, you got another month or so, right?
Yeah, White Castle Day is on its way. But let's talk wrestling news. First off, a young lady who had been featured on AEW Dynamite for over a year or so. It came back. And, came back from injury, was on the pay-per-view, wrestled, I think it was the buy-in at Double or Nothing. Serena Deeb has lost her NWA championship. Over the weekend, Serena Deeb participated in an NWA pay-per-view. She has lost her championship. The new NWA World Women's title is now belonging to Camille.
Yeah, get her over to AEW. Full time, and let me see that feud with her and Britt Baker for the AEW title.
Yeah, she defended her title against Rio at the buy-in kickoff show last Sunday. So, does that clear the path for her to go against Britt Baker? I wonder.
I think so. I mean, that's a match that I think a lot of people want to see.
Okay, all right. Well, excited to see what's going to happen. And it's not Wednesday Dynamite. It'll be Friday Dynamite again this week due to the NBA playoffs. But let's talk about what happened on last Friday night's Dynamite. The AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, took on the Death Triangles, Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo. Young Bucks win and retain. But at the end, there was a little help from Eddie Kingston running down, and the Bucks ran off. Now, skipping ahead later in the program, Pac and Penta El Zero Miedo said, look, we don't need your help. We didn't ask for your help. And Eddie Kingston put it out there very clearly. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And there is a preview at the end of the night. They will be wrestling next week in a 6-man tag with Brandon Cutler joining the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I think it's a good match to start the show off, and Daly's Place looked great. I mean, it looked very much like it did on the pay-per-view the other night, and just so good to see live fans back and Daly's Place packed out. I thought it was a good opening match to start the show. We are in the middle of this Young Bucks heel run, and I think there's no question about that. But yeah, throwing Kingston in the mix makes sense because looks like his pal Moxley might be out for a while, and that might have some ramifications on the team they call Meathead.
Yes, very good segue there. That does affect the team they call Meatheads. Now, we have dropped the injury rule for the PWR draft for 2021, so there is a chance I may be dropping Kingston and Moxley and picking up a new tag team in the WWE. We'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, Otis and Gable are eligible again. I know.
Well, I have Otis
for a little. That's right. You do, don't you? Okay.
So we'll have to see. There's a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday called In Your House.
That's the Todd Pettingill thing, right?
That's the Todd Pettingill one. I do want to bring this up as well. Mark Henry, when he was on Dynamite this last Friday, a little shout out for himself to Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. He goes, look, I'm not here to fix AEW because AEW's not broken. I'm just here to turn some of the screws. For those of you that didn't get what that means, tighten things up. That's all that means is tighten things up. You're doing good stuff. Let's just tighten it up a little bit. Matthew, your thoughts on Mark Henry getting on the stick, talking a little bit, and what he means by tighten the screws?
Hey, that was fun. I think that was, all that was needed. And look, AEW's no stranger to people plugging their podcast. I mean, we've heard JR do it. We've heard Tony do it. They let Mark Henry get a little bit of action on there. So, when you and I make our AEW debut,
I was going to say, we need the Fanny Pack Kid to talk about PWR today. That's what we need.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's got to be a AEW promo coming up in his near future. Hey, it's par for the course, man, and give us a little bit of love over there.
There you go. All right. Vicky Guerrero came out and interrupted the interview, and she told Mark and Tony to get out of the ring, and it was weird. And you're not thinking, oh, look, it's Vicky. I wonder what she's here to talk about. Oh, my God, it's Andrade El Idolo. Literally, that was a slap to the face. That came out of nowhere. Your thoughts on Andrade?
What was great about this, it's second segment, and it's not it's not teased at the top of the hour. We've got a new acquisition. It's a surprise. It's Mark Henry, where you're thinking that's going to be pretty self-contained. Hey, he's a new signee. This is great. Let's hear Mark Henry talk. Then he gets interrupted by Vicky, which is very surprising but fun. But again, you've seen Vicky kind of, teeter around the women's division, not in...
Sniffing around would be the term I would use.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to go in cougar terms, she's kind of sniffing around, stalking her prey.
And not in any super consequential roles outside of... outside of some managerial stuff here and there, but this was a huge, like you said, a slap in the face, a big surprise here.
Yeah, that's exactly how we expect. Oh my God, there's Andrade.
Yeah.
I mean, that just came out of nowhere. There was talk that Ric Flair and Charlotte were all, pleased with, the newest, whatever had happened in Andrade's life. We thought, oh, Charlotte's pregnant. I'm thinking to myself, I got to get somebody else on the PWR draft. And nope, Andrade is all elite. Holy smokes. Cody Rhodes and Big Shotty Lee Johnson take on the Factory's QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. After Cody Rhodes' win over Anthony Ogogo, I didn't think that this was a surprise at all on how this match ended.
Yeah. It seemed pretty easy to predict. Again, like we've talked about in recent weeks, I think it's time for Cody to get involved in closer to that main event picture. Yeah, I get the title thing, but give me something a little more substantial for Cody right now.
Yep. Inner Circle does what they call their victory lap after defeating the Pinnacle at Double or Nothing 2021. And the setup in this little interview was Hager and Wardlow are going to have a match in a couple weeks.
And apparently it's going to be an MMA cage
In an
fight
MMA cage, yep.
from what I understand. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what we're gonna get from this. Shoot, man, maybe they just go straight up brawl for all and see what happens.
All right. The 2021 Casino Battle Royal winner, the #1 ranked singles competitor, Jungle Boy, teaming up with Christian against Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, accompanied by Matt Hardy. A good tag team match. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and we got the Matt Hardy attack on Christian at the end. So if you want to give us, a month or so of Matt Hardy and Christian in AEW in 2021, I'm fine with it.
I'll take that.
Yeah, there's that backstory there. It's not something you're going to put at the top of your card, but my goodness, it's going to be cool to have these guys who can still both physically go to be able to tell that story in AEW.
Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page interrupt the interview of Sting and Darby Allin. And the story being told here is, Scorpio and Ethan say that Darby is nowhere without Sting. You know what? I'll take a tag team match with you. Pick anybody in the locker room except Sting and see how that works out for you. Thoughts?
Yeah, maybe we get what was Sting's initial gimmick with the Warrior?
Blade Runner? He was one of the Blade Runners?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get Darby teaming with the Blade Runner.
What about Joker Sting?
Or Joker Sting, yeah.
I looked forward to this, and here it finally is. It's the championship celebration of the new Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I heard those were double cheeseburgers. Those are not. Those look like Big Macs to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're correct.
Matthew, were you upset that they didn't give everybody Big Macs?
Yeah, I mean,
because Jericho gave away shirts under his chair, and Britt Baker said there's coupons for a free burger under your chair. Psych, I got him here.
It would have been much better if instead of the actual coupon, it was the actual Big Mac under the chair.
Because the bottom of a chair.
Exactly, because that's kind of your, welcome back to normalcy thing. I know Adam Page is not drinking strangers' drinks anymore, but you can give your audience you can put a cheeseburger under your audience's chair.
Wow. At the end of that, Nyla Rose pops all the balloons, so Nyla Rose may also be pushing towards Britt Baker, DMD. Red Velvet and the Bunny, nice little singles match between the two women. Then we had a great promo, I think, by the best man, Miro, saying that he heard that Evil Uno has challenged him. And that means next week we're going to have Evil Uno and Miro for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, and we're probably going to have Miro run through Evil Uno. They're doing a great job with Miro. Yes. I like the fact that they're, putting challengers in his way. The more we can see him be dominant, the better it is, because we've gotten a lot of that Miro, the fun guy who likes to play video games, taste out of our mouth. But the more that we can get across this guy as a dominant beast, I think the better we are.
Yeah, so Dustin Rhodes apparently had a 13-1 record in bull rope matches in his legendary career. Well, here comes his next match. It's Nick Camarado, who looks just likable against the natural Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes with the big win against Nick Camarado in the bull rope match. Now, here's an interesting piece of trivia that went into the commentary. Someone asked, what's the difference between a bull rope match and a Texas rope match? And apparently in a Texas bull rope match, you have to touch all four corners. Yeah. Okay. So that was, I like that little nugget that was dropped on us.
No, absolutely. And it's fun when you get those little bits of trivia here and there. And I thought it was really cool to have this go on last, this be your main event. And I mean, you've got Dustin out there really helping to establish young talent, and they're booking with their stars like this. It's good because it's not always your young guy going over your established star. They do a pretty good job of keeping you on your toes with their booking.
Let's segue over to Smackdown from last Friday night as well. I will try to stay positive, but this show was hot garbage juice. Roman Reigns opens up with the Usos. The Usos have a title match, and Roman Reigns promos. It's not the talent, folks. They're doing what they're given. Okay. Roman Reigns opens up and says, "Get the Usos out here. They've got a tag team title match. You know what? You want this match? Go ahead and win." And they take on the SmackDown tag team champions of Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Now, Matthew, this match was won by Rey and Dominic Mysterio. before we get to what happened at the end, tell us about the first match in the segment.
Yeah. You pretty much said most of it there. My thought process when this opens up the show, because this had been built up for since last week, and what we've seen with WWE recently, you're opening up with one of your main matches. There's most likely going to be a questionable finish, and this is not going to be self-contained. It's not going to be said and done with, and that was once again the case with this. Knowing that you're getting this segment opening the show, you've been conditioned now with WWE's booking to say, okay, what's going to happen here, and are we going to see this match again later in the show?
Yeah.
And both of those things happened.
Seth Rollins walked off of his interview following questions about Cesaro Retribution. I thought it was going to be about his jacket, but you know what? Seth Rollins, I like the non-talking that he does. I think it's kind of funny. Carmella defeats Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan no longer has a partner in Ruby Riott after she was released. The picture on WWE.com I actually kind of enjoy. Bianca Belair standing there with the championship belt, but it's Bayley on every one of the screens of the Thunderdome. It's kind of funny, and I don't think they'll be able to do that anymore once they hit the road again, but enjoy it while you can, because that stuff's funny to me.
Yeah, and what a great year Bayley has had. I mean, this transition into the heel character, she's done a great job.
Great year, great 2 years almost, because she was a heel champion for a year.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So I think Bayley's going to be one of those talents once we get fans back that they really show their appreciation, for the body of work.
Yeah,
and
it'll be tough for heels to be heels, to be honest.
Yeah, and I still want to see them give me a little bit more depth to Bianca Belair. Since she's gotten to the main roster, we know that she really likes her family, and we know that she's overcome people saying that she couldn't do stuff. That's about it we've got with Bianca Belair.
And she's married to Montez Ford.
Yeah. I'm just concerned about the lack of backstory. Yeah. And the lack of just, stuff we can sink our teeth into there with this character. Nothing on her. Her in-ring ability is great. I just think that they're kind of resting on their laurels there.
So, you know what? You saying that makes me go back in the last how many months? The question I ask you, the question I ask Linda, and all of our listeners, why should I like Bianca Belair? Tell me what I'm supposed to like about her, because I don't see it.
Yeah. They're basing it on her in-ring athleticism and her hair. Like, that is her. If you look at her logo, you look at the entrance music, which is supposed to be the hair whip. That's what they're going with. That's the character that they're trying to put across.
That whip worked for WrestleMania because she beat Sasha by whipping her with her hair. He even left the welt to the point where she's been off TV since.
And a lot of what, got her a lot of that momentum was her appearance in the Royal Rumble in 2020. I mean, when she was the underdog. And the concern with Bianca Belair at this juncture, she's not the underdog. And when you're standing on top of the mountain with the WWE Women's title in a match that closed the show in one of your WrestleManias, how you can't keep riding that underdog thing. And that's what that's
no longer an underdog.
Yeah, that's what they've built it on. And my goodness, like I said, I'd like to see them give her something a little bit more.
All right, let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin. Shinsuke on the rise. King Corbin is still supposed to be the king. This dude, while he won his match on Friday, what is he doing? Shinsuke got over on him again, has the crown. By the way, Rick Boogs, love that. I mean, the music's playing in the background, and he's just playing on top of it.
Yeah.
I would assume with the physique that he has that he's an actual worker, a wrestler, because I've never seen him before. Maybe he is, but absolutely love it. Get him out there, let him do a little finger tap solo too on top of it. This has Shinsuke on the rise.
Yeah, I think they need to get him away from Corbin at this juncture, because I think with Corbin at this point,
wrestle for the crown, take it.
You run the risk of, unfortunately, detracting anybody who's involved in a program with Corbin, and that's nothing wrong with Corbin is one of your better heels in the company, but it's just man, I'd like to see them kind of push a little bit, not necessarily a reset on Corbin. I mean, the crown's got to go away, but get Corbin off of TV for a couple of months and let him come back. I think he's immensely talented, but the way he is consistently utilized is just, it's kind of when you want an annoying heel. And the problem with that is I think Corbin can be so much more effective than that.
I think so too. Kevin Owens loses his title match. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line. Apollo Crews defeating Kevin Owens. This is just a placeholder, honestly. Yeah. Because we lost Big E to the feud with Aleister Black. Now Aleister Black is gone. You know what? I know we said get Big E away from Apollo. You're going to have to put him back there again.
And unfortunately, Kevin Owens, he serves a lot of that same role that Bray Wyatt has served for years. Yeah. A dependable guy that you can always go with, that is a phenomenal worker, and you can kind of do a plug and place type of thing. And again, you really limited what you can do with that. And then we got Sammy at the very end. I mean, you can always go to Sammy and Kevin Owens. That's always going to be a great match.
But we've got that in our hip pocket, but it doesn't mean anything right now.
Exactly. And it's a hip pocket move.
Finally, through the shenanigans that happened in the night where the Usos went back to Scrap Daddy and Sonya Deville and said, we need a rematch. Well, the rematch is going to happen tonight. Rey and Dominic defeat the Usos by disqualification because Roman Reigns unleashed vicious assault on the Mysterios. Matthew, this looks to me like the tag team champions will not be defending at Hell in a Cell. It looks to me like Roman might be taking on Rey.
Yeah. Very possible.
And I don't believe he's going to win.
And the problem with this is, as much as I've liked the story they've told with the family, Usos, Roman, that's what Roman's doing now. And I think that you could have so many different layers here. You could have the Usos doing their thing. You could have Roman in a main event program. And that's been absent, and
right.
Again, when you're trying to stretch this stuff so thin, SmackDown's a 2-hour show and we had the same match twice, man. They're just going.
Hey, what they should try doing? Stop releasing talent.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing too, we've talked about it in recent weeks. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of bump at first, with people being excited to be back and live audiences, but if you put on what you're consistently putting on with SmackDown, once you get in front of live crowds, man, you're going to lose them. And this show in front of a live crowd, everybody's going to be excited to be back, but there's not much substance going on. And they really, I think you're at a juncture where I don't even know that a draft would do much at this point. I think you might have to pull away from the brand split. And then what does that do to your titles? They just, right. I don't think they're utilizing the talent efficiently enough to have these two separate brands at this point.
Well, they're trying to utilize the talent they have, but they got rid of half of it. To be honest, This story is out there, Matthew, and I didn't want to kind of add on to it and pile on. Nick Khan, who has worked in other companies, got them to look sexy for buyouts. There is talk within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Vince is selling, and this company will get sold to NBC Universal.
My goodness, that's a discussion in and of itself, what that would look like. Wow. Yeah. And here's the thing, too, with SmackDown, what I was looking forward to, what I made sure if it was anything I was skimming through, I was stopping for those Aleister Black promos. I was really excited about that. Was outside of the last couple of months. I mean, that was the Aleister Black premiere, that where they were going with him and Big E. I was intrigued, and you just pull the rug out from under that. I believe over the last couple of days, he actually shared the intro music that they had done for the repackaging. It was
phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's just again, this batch of cuts is probably the most intriguing that I've ever seen, because it's not people where you're saying, I wish they didn't go, but it's not a huge surprise. This is people that had major programs, and you look at the storyline investment that company had put for years in Braun Strowman. And it's just
Braun Strowman came up through NXT into the Wyatt family.
Yeah,
he was the black sheep.
Mm-hmm. The guy
Former
beat Goldberg. You know, he was in last month's main event. You know, that was it's one of the reasons that Team Nelson Mandela drafted him, because, you know, if there was one thing you can count on for this calendar year, it's always, you know, Braun Strowman being in some kind of high profile match.
You know, that's funny you mentioned that, because the PWR draft, you have Braun Strowman, correct?
Mm-hmm. I do. And
he doesn't have a job right now.
Yeah, well, that means you know, that means I've got my eye out. You know, there's a couple different moves I can make, and so everybody here in these next couple of weeks, I would highly advise you to let me see what you got, because Matthew's getting ready to maybe pull some switches.
There you go. Make sure to follow us with all the draft news at PWR Draft 2021 on the Twitter machine. We're also giving updates on the Pro Wrestling Report webpage on Facebook. You can follow Matthew Thomas at The Real M. Thomas, and then myself at WCW Meathead. Currently, the standings, Linda K leads 625. The man they call Meathead 620. Matthew Thomas way down at the bottom, not even close enough to sniff me at 375. But I'm like right behind Linda, like creepy Uncle Joe Biden, smelling hair.
And I will have you know that my strategy is working perfectly.
Oh, just to be with, you know, like another bus stop away instead of like right up in the mix.
Yep. Exactly. So it's all working as well as planned. I mean, I went into this year with a full-fledged strategy, not just picking willy-nilly, you know, this shiny object and that shiny object. And I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now at this.
Out of all your draft picks, one of them already got fired.
Yeah, I know. But guess who can pick up somebody now without a penalty, huh?
Oh, no. Just because we dropped the injury, that doesn't mean that you still won't be dropping 25 points. We dropped the injury qualifier. Any drops or adds are minus 25, my friend.
Yeah, well, we'll have to review that.
We'll have to talk to the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. But speaking of talking to them, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. For Matthew Thomas, on the man they call Meathead, hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.